Happy Monday, BioRave family. What is happening? It's your girl, Pearl. We just had a dance party. Now, if you listen to these or watch the replays, I would love for you to come live because before I go live and press record, we have a dance party in the Zoom room. We're vibing, we're dancing. Usually I'm by myself, but like if you want to come and join me, I'd love to have you. So, welcome back to our Thriving Sober series. I am so excited to be here and to be just helping people thrive. There's a lot of things happening in my world. The Facebook group is reviving. So, if you want to join the free Facebook community, I'm going to have a lot of resources coming up. Just really having a community of people you can come to, you can ask questions. I'm going to have weekly lives like these ones. There will also be streaming into a Facebook group next week. And just, yeah, having a thriving community of people that want to be healthy, thrive sober, still party, but in a more health conscious way, take care of their well-being while still having fun. That's what the BioRave movement is all about. Okay, so if you want to join a free community, let me know. Either DM me or comment or email me, whatever you want to contact me, let me know. Okay, now I'm doing a weekly Thriving Sober series, and I have no idea how long it's going to be. I'm just going to keep talking about things that really pertain to thriving sober. And what I want to talk about today is actually really top of my mind because I've had a lot of conversation with people that are newly sober or decide to, stop drinking or they want to be more sober. And I actually just recorded training on this in my paid community, right? I have a couple communities. I have my High Vibe Tribe, have my one-on-one coaching. But what I'm creating actually, I'm creating a program and a course around becoming lit, right? What I call my lit method. My lit method is 4 parts to it. If you haven't heard the podcast, but lit method, go check out the podcast where I talk all about the lit method. But lit method is basically the framework and the values I live by on a daily basis that allow me to become lit up and have allowed me to really tap into optimizing all my states and being more emotionally intelligent and healing through things and working on navigating life and working on my body and my mind and my soul and my spirit and all the things that I really think contribute to someone becoming their most lit up selves, their most authentic selves, living a life they absolutely love that they don't want to escape from, right? And a big thing that comes up is feelings. Big thing is navigating feeling emotions, is processing emotions, is figuring out how to even do this, where to start. A big piece of people that, and this used to be me as well, that we look for an escape, right? We look for an escape from our reality, whether that's drinking, whether that's drugs, whether that's sex or social media, or we just want to escape. But when I dug deeper from talking to people and also in my own world, I wanted to escape feeling a certain way. I was not happy and I was not feeling good in my body. And there was things that I was not addressing, that I was avoiding. I was feeling sad, guilty, maybe anger, maybe rage, whatever all these feelings were. And I didn't know how to process them. Like I didn't have the tools. No one told me, no one taught me how to process them. Like this isn't something that's talked about commonly when I was growing up. Not sure about you. Now it's something that we're talking about more, which I'm so obsessed with. Like I think is so important. It's one of the most important skills is understanding how to process emotions as they come up, how to heal, how to move through challenging situations, how to navigate being a human that feels all the feels. And not just the lower vibrational ones, also the higher vibrational ones, how to process all emotions on the spectrum, right? And so when I was younger and when I was escaping my reality, because I hated my life, but really I hated how I felt on the inside. And there were so many things that contributed to how I felt, right? It was my own inner narrative. It was how I was conditioned. It was my repeating thought patterns. It was not sleeping well, not eating well, it was telling myself all these things that were making myself feel even worse. It was the old patterns I had. It was so many things. Me working a job I didn't love, me not listening to my intuition, the things add up and there's so many things that can contribute to people not feeling great, right? And so I realized like I was trying to escape my feelings and I would go out a lot, right? For me, my escape was going out to party, going out to the club, going out to rave, going out to be in the music and not at home with my thoughts. I would literally do anything to not be alone with my thoughts. that would include me making myself so busy. Like I would be doing everything all the time. I always was out with friends or had a plan, or I was doing this or doing that, or was doing like something. I was always doing something. And that was a sign of me trying to just avoid doing the things, doing the real inner work, right? So once I dug into and really uncovered how to tap into my emotions and feel the feels and feel safe to feel the feels. When I was younger, it wasn't safe for me to feel. So I had to retrain myself on how to be a safe human being that could feel and not like die or not like have this really negative experience when I was feeling feelings, right? Because when I was younger, I would feel a feeling, I would share it, and I would get shut down. I would get, abused. I would get whatever would happen. I would just, a very negative experience that happened to me whenever I felt, whenever I expressed how I felt. So I learned that I couldn't express how I felt. I learned that I had to shut that down. I had to not feel, not express emotion. I didn't cry for probably like 5 years or something like that. Like there was a long period of time in my life where I didn't cry because I wasn't allowed to cry. Crying is for pussies. I can't be weak. I have to be strong, right? I'm not allowed to cry. I have to stay strong. There's nothing to cry about. My life is fine. My mom had it worse, so my life is fine. All the things I was conditioned with. There was a long period of time where I didn't cry. And during that period of time, I was miserable. Like, I really believe a key to happiness is feeling your feels, is being able to express, is being able to feel, right? And so I was so unhappy because I wasn't processing my emotions. I was shoving them down, suppressing them. And I was just like escaping. I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to travel. I'm going to, escape for 10 months and travel the world. I'm going to go out and party all the time. I'm going to keep myself so busy. So as I share that, I want to pause and check in with you and see what are some of the ways that you are avoiding feeling the feels, right? For you, what is your escape? What is the thing that you're doing, right? A lot of people that I talk to in my world, for them it's drugs or drinking usually, and that's why they're in this movement, because they want to understand how to thrive sober. They want to understand how to be able to manage their emotions and be a strong, resilient human that can feel the feels and not want to go directly to a certain substance or to a drink or to XYZ, whatever their escape is, right? And so looking at yourself and be like, okay, wow, like how am I escaping? How am I avoiding feeling what I actually need to feel? Okay, that's one really good thing to look at and start with. So for me, I started having to make myself sit with my feelings, like actually sit with my feelings. That'd be me sitting on the floor and just like being present with myself and see what came up. And I think one thing that's really important is, one thing I've learned over the years is our feelings are actually messengers. Our feelings are telling us information at all times. And if we're able to detach the narrative around feelings and how we think about feelings and just look at the feeling as a data point, look at the feeling as a data point of, I feel this way. Oh, interesting. Let me look into this, and not make it mean anything about you, right? Because in the past, I would feel sad and I'd be like, oh my God, why am I sad? I shouldn't be sad. Whoa, why am I feeling sad? Blah, 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 da, 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 and I'd go all in this mind thing. And they'd behold this whole narrative around how I shouldn't be feeling sad. And oh my God, like I should be grateful. What do you mean? I would shame myself for feeling sad. Like I should be grateful. I have nothing to be sad about. My life is fine. Look at it, blah, blah. And I wouldn't acknowledge my feelings. And that's one of the worst things you can do, right? Because feelings are coming up for a reason. We must feel to heal. I truly believe feelings come up to tell us something, but we keep ignoring them, pushing them down. We don't actually get the lesson or the learning from it. And that keeps happening. And what we repress gets worse usually, right? And so your feelings get worse. You feel more anxious, more depressed, more sad, whatever it is. So we need to address these things. So learning how to sit with myself and not make it mean anything about me when I feel something, right? And I'd be like, oh, interesting, I'm feeling this way. Okay, like, what can I learn from this? What's this feeling telling me? And then knowing that I have the power to elevate the feeling, to shift the feeling, to take myself from a certain state and change my state, right? So this is when I started diving into the tools that I would use to emotionally regulate, the tools that I would use to change my mindset, to create more safety in the nervous system, to change my patterns around how I would usually treat myself when I was feeling a certain way. I needed to change how I did that. I needed to change what that looked like for me, right? This is where I dove into, EFT tapping, into breath work, into somatics, into visualization, into hypnosis, into, how I spoke to myself, into movement, into expression, into creating safety in the body through having conversations, into opening up more, into actually expressing, crying, shouting, expressing these emotions I was never allowed to express, right? There's so many tools that you can use. And I actually break down all these tools in my program. And it's like, how can we use these tools on a regular basis, right? And something that I now do on a daily basis, because I look at feelings is like a bodily function. Humans are meant to feel just like how we are meant to sleep. We're meant to drink water. We're meant to pee. We're meant to eat. We're meant to move. Like feelings are a part of our regular daily life. So since then, I'm like, wait, if feelings are just a part of me processing, navigating life, like feelings are bound to happen. We feel feelings all the time, right? I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm grateful. And I go through a spectrum of feelings every single day. I go through all the waves. So it's like, how can we just feel the feels and like take the lessons and evolve with them and learn how to shift our state? And how can it become more of a process that is a daily process, just like brushing my teeth, right? And so now I make space for myself to feel every single day. And this is usually in the morning. I usually do my feelings and my processing in the morning. Now, I think I have a two-pronged approach to this. I believe there's like the maintenance of our nervous system, like the maintenance of our feelings. And there's the tools that we use in the moments when we need to. And I think they're both really, really important. And the analogy I like to think about is like a car. I'm a car girly. And so if you're in my world, I talk about cars a lot. And so the car analogy is like, okay, you have a car, you need to get the gas change, you need to fill up the gas, get the oil change, take it to maintenance every few months, like you need to change the tires, like, that's going to happen, right? That's the regular maintenance. And like, oh, you can see your gas getting low, you go fill up the gas. The same as us, like, okay, we know that we need to process our emotions, we need to express feelings, we need to do these things. So when are we making space to do these things? How are we making a space to do these things, right? Is it going to a breathwork session a month? Is it going out dancing, using dance to release? And a big part of this movement is actually understanding how we can use dance and how we can use partying and raving to actually express emotion, to actually heal ourselves, to actually elevate our state, to work on our nervous system. It's a big, big part of this movement. And we're talking a lot more about that. I have some things coming up revolving around that through the practice that I have done, right? So for me, every morning, I have my maintenance things I do, right? Then every month, I also have maintenance things I do. I do breathwork sessions. I do somatic dance sessions, right? Then daily, I journal, I tap, I dance, I express. If I need to cry, I cry. If I need to chat, I chat. If I need to, if you follow me on Instagram, you see my stories, I dance a lot in my stories. And that's intentional because I dance to express, I dance to regulate my nervous system, I dance to release emotions, I dance to celebrate, I dance to do a lot of things because emotions are just energy in motion, right? And when we're able to actually understand that emotions are energy in motion, so when we feel emotions, we must move with them. We must move through them. And the best way to do that is through movement, truly movement. And I think dancing is the best way to do that personally. And dancing is also a beautiful way to release trapped emotions, right? If you've ever been dancing or out to a party or at a rave or whatever, sometimes when you're dancing, you'll feel emotions come up, right? This happens to me all the time. And I used to be like, oh my God, why am I feeling this way? What's happening? But as I learned more about somatics in the body, I realized like, oh no, this is natural because emotions are trapped in the body, especially because personally, I never process my emotions. I just shove them down. I had a lot to work on. So every time emotions would come up when I was dancing, I'm like, this is beautiful. It comes up and I get to release it. Oh, this is coming up and I get to release it. Cool, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna move, I'm gonna dance, I'm gonna shout, I'm gonna yell. This is actually why I love raving and festivals so much. Cause like I just get to be my most expressed self. It's the most healing thing ever for me. I just get to cry and laugh and shout and scream and yell and dance and rage and just like be my most expressed, authentic self. And not only is that beautiful for my heart, but also for my emotions and for my nervous system. And that's literally so, it's one of my favorite things. And so, how can you create spaces and pockets like this in your life? For me, it's every day. I actually highly recommend people make space and time to feel every day. And maybe that means it's during the day, maybe it's the evening, maybe it's the morning. I don't care. So that's your maintenance, yeah? You're doing things every day, you're taking time to journal, to reflect, to feel, to maybe you're tapping, maybe you're doing breath work, maybe you're breathing, maybe you're meditating. Whatever you choose, there's so many tools. Pick one and do it regularly. Maybe it's more than one. I use more than one on a regular basis. And I also am very intuitive with the process. So in the morning, I'll check in with how I'm feeling. And I'll be like, okay, Pearl, how are you feeling this morning? Sometimes I'm feeling fucking phenomenal. I'm like, yo, I'm feeling great. I'm gonna have a dance party to celebrate the fact that I'm feeling great. Amazing. Some mornings it's like, I'm actually feeling overwhelmed with like all the things I have to do and like the movement I'm building and like all the pressure I feel like I have putting on myself. And I just need to express, excuse me, I'm thirsty. Your girl's talking too much. Sometimes I just want to like express how I'm feeling. And if it's sadness, I express sadness and I cry. And if it's something that came up one day, I'm like, okay, great. Like I'm gonna express that, feel that, right? So I make space every single day. I recommend you do too. Like I said, it's like a regular human thing. We express, we come out, we release, and we let it go. I actually have a really powerful framework that I've created for my clients. I'm also probably going to share a podcast episode about it as well, because I just created this and it's like so good. Like this framework, and this is the process I take myself on a daily basis. It's so good, but it's like a 30-minute training. So not going to share it here, but I am really excited to drop this when it's ready. Okay, so the next piece of the feelings and managing emotions is in the moment, right? So you have your car, you're maintaining it, but sometimes you're driving on the road and a rock hits your windshield. And you're like, oh shit, I now have a crack in my window. I need to get that fixed. Or, something you're driving and like you gotta slam on the brakes, or like something will happen, things will come up, right? And that's when you have the tools that you use in the moment or after the moment, okay? So like you're driving, the rock hits your windshield, like, oh shit, like, oh damn, well, right now I'm going somewhere. Like I have plans with a friend, so I'm not gonna stop and fix it right now, but I will take it to the shop and get it fixed, right? Perfect. So some people will ignore the crack in the windshield and gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And that's like most people with their emotions. Like they'll feel an emotion and they'll ignore it. Just ignore it. They'll ignore it. Like, that's fine. Like I felt that one time, that one day someone said that, or like this came up for me in this moment, but I'm gonna ignore it. And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, especially if it's an emotion with a friend or a relationship or a partner or whatever. You just ignore it, you don't talk about it. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until one day you blow up. You're like, right? Or we can learn how to maintain and use the tools to fix the things when the shit happens. Yeah. So this is how I look at it. So, for example, I'm navigating, like I'm with a friend or I'm doing something and I'm feeling a certain way. Maybe someone said something that upset me or like something happened. And again, I use my intuition. Sometimes I might address it in the moment. I might be like, hey, like what you just said there didn't sit well with me. Like I'm noticing I'm feeling a certain way about what just happened. Can we talk about it? Or I just want to share how I feel about it. Right. And that's a part of expressing. And it's not that you need to be like, oh my God, I'm so mad you said that, like blah, blah, blah. It's just like understanding how to regulate before you share, you regulate and you feel the feels like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit upset about that comment. And you explore, it's like, oh, why am I feeling upset? and you don't make it mean anything about you. Be like, oh, I'm feeling this way. Oh, maybe because it reminds me of how I felt in the past, or reminds me of how at one time I got bullied and like doesn't sit well with me. And oh, maybe that's something I need to work on healing, right? And then you can share in the moment if you feel called to, of course, depending on the situation. It's all gonna be different. And you're like, hey, like if I feel safe to share this with my friend, I will. Like, hey, I feel this way right now. Like, I just want to share that. Maybe I don't feel safe to share in the moment. And that's something I process on my own time, right? There's all different ways to do this, but I think it's really important to address those feelings as soon as possible so they don't fester and they don't ruminate and they don't become this whole thing. So when you can build the skills to either share in the moment or after you come home, you can process it on your own and be like, okay, I'm feeling this way. Let me see why. Oh, this reminds me of this. And I realize I had some unresolved things to do with like my childhood and being bullied. And like maybe some part of me still feels insecure. And then from assessing that, how can I help myself with this certain emotion that I just discovered or that has come up? Or maybe it's a pattern, like, you know what? This is a pattern. It's making me feel like shit. And I want to fix this pattern. So, like, what are the things I can do? Right. And we talk about this in my world and my coaching. Like, what are the things we can do on a regular basis to maintain, but also to shift our emotions and to heal through the things? If you're insecure about a certain thing, how can you create more security about it? How can you learn to heal that within you? Do the inner child work or create different narratives around it, or go to therapy or talk about it, or do some other things that are going to serve you to help you release that feeling and start to build and create new narratives around it, right? How can you think differently, act differently in your everyday life to support the new narrative you want to create, right? So for example, if you are feeling insecure, or maybe you're feeling like you don't have a strong friend group, whatever it is, it's like, okay, first of all, let me heal that feeling. So I was feeling insecure because, in the past, I haven't had really good friends. I'm like, I felt like no one liked me and I was bullied when I was younger. And these are all true. This is like legit me. Like I was bullied when I was younger. I really struggled making friends and I felt insecure about my friendships, about me. I didn't know if people liked me. I actually thought a lot of time people didn't like me. Right. I was bullied because of my skin color, because I was black. So a lot of time in the past, I would like make these stories up and I'd be like, oh, it's because I'm black or blah, blah, blah. And so even sometimes, even to this day, I'll be in social settings and these feelings will come up. And I will feel like people don't like me, that I'm not included, that I'm not. Now, feelings aren't always true. Feelings aren't always facts. So I need to really assess that. I'm like, oh, interesting. I'm feeling like this. Is it true? Do these people I'm around, do they like me? Or why is this coming up? Interesting. Maybe it's something I need to work on still, right? And then from there, it's like what parts of me still need to be addressed and healed so I can feel secure and I can feel loved and I can feel safe in these relationships, right? Do I need to talk to someone? Do I need to express something to someone? Do I need to focus on my inner child healing? It's probably all the above, honestly. I do all the above. Do I need to go to therapy? Do I need to do a somatic breathwork session? Do I need to do some dancing to release this energy? It's all the above. And then it's like you get to decide when you get to do these things. And then the new narrative you want to support, for me, it's like all my friends love me. My friends are amazing. My group loves me. Like I'm included. They want me to be involved, blah, blah. And so how can we create evidence to support our new beliefs, right? It's like every time a friend asks me to hang out, every time something happens or I get invited somewhere, I have to reaffirm myself like, oh, look, of course people want to be involved. Of course people want you there. People love your energy. And every time someone compliments me on my energy or says like, you're so much fun, Pearl, I love your energy, I make a mental note. I'm like, see, people love your energy. People like you. And I need to reaffirm the new belief I want to create. So you get to do that too. You get to do that too. And so I know that was a lot, but basically, I want you to really think about everything I just shared in this video or listening on the podcast. It's amazing because this is really where we get to start and build that emotional resilience and emotional intelligence. Understanding that, okay, I must be doing certain things to maintain my emotions and to properly express and heal through feeling. How can I do that for myself? right? And also, you're going to understand that things are going to come up for you personally. So everything I shared here might not resonate, and that's okay. But if you sit with it and you feel like, oh, you know what? I just got a download that maybe I should try this. Or maybe I'm feeling called to dive more into tapping or this. Or maybe, that one friend mentioned this one technique she used. Let me message her and ask her. You're going to get downloads and like intuitive hits when you start asking yourself these powerful questions, and trust those hits. Trust that that's what's meant for you. Okay. So, what can you do to maintain your emotions? And then, in the moments where you're feeling these feelings, how can you navigate these feelings, right? How can you take yourself through, okay, I'm feeling a certain way. This is why. This doesn't mean that this person or this situation or this thing actually means that. Let me open up a conversation. Let me create this conversation if I feel safe. Like, hey, I'm feeling a certain way because of this, but like, what did you actually mean when you said that? How are you okay, what was your intention behind sharing that? Because it made me feel like this, but I don't know if that's actually accurate. So I just want to have a chat. And a lot of this does take being vulnerable and open, and it can be hard for many, but know that the more vulnerable you are, that's the path to your healing. That's the path to your happiness. Yeah. I'm losing my voice. I'm gonna wrap up. And so you take that and then you also realize, like, okay, this is something that I'm still working on. Okay, maybe I need to take more actions and create new realities and new narratives to support this new belief and heal this part of me that feels unsafe, that feels unliked or unworthy, right? So there's two pieces to that. And that is literally the most important thing you can focus on, because the more you can manage your emotions, tying it back to thriving sober, the more you can realize, like, oh, I can feel the feels and be okay and not need to escape. I can have these hard conversations and be fine and create safety in the body and feel okay with that. Oh, I can actually create space every day to feel my feelings. So I'm building my resilience. So I don't have to escape and try to go to drink or drugs or whatever to not feel, because it's actually safe for me to feel. The big reason why we don't want to feel because it's not safe to feel. We don't know how to feel and process it. So once we create the reality and the regularity and the repetition of, oh, if I take every morning to journal and feel, and then if I take the moments that come up in my day, that feelings come up and I know that's okay to feel, it's okay to express, and I actually have the tools to process my emotions after the fact, oh, then these feelings are actually okay and I can feel these and I know how to process them. And I don't have to be scared of it. Oh, and I can, rely less on escaping because I can create better narratives and better feelings. And then once you manage your feelings better, you're actually going to feel better. And once you feel happier, you're going to feel happier more often. And you're going to know how to process your feelings so you can get back to your state of a more elevated state. And the more you're in your elevated state, the less you want to escape, the less you want to do other things, and the more you can thrive sober. All right. So that's kind of the vibe. And that's what I've been taking myself through over the past few years, because the more I healed and the more I felt and the more I expressed and the more I created space every single day to feel and to tap and to do all the tools that I use, the happier I felt. And the happier I felt, the less I had to escape my life. And the more I loved my life, the more I felt emotionally secure, the more I felt safe. And that literally led me to becoming high off life every single day, because I was able to feel higher vibrational feelings every day. I was able to feel high because I felt happier. I felt more joy. I felt more gratitude. I felt more peace and safety on a regular basis, like in my body. And that feeling is unfreaking matched. And so I don't need to chase any other highs, because I already feel so good in my body. And when I don't feel good, I know what to do to make myself feel good. I know what to do to maintain that feeling. I know what to do and the tools to use for me to create that on a regular basis. And that's exactly what I want for you too, right? So know that this takes time. It's took me years and I'm still evolving. I'm still healing. I'm still doing the work, because new things come up every single day. But I have the tools and I have the mindset and I have the resilience and I have the support, right? So if you're someone that wants to understand more about this for yourself on a personal level, because you're going to create your own ways for maintaining these, your own daily habits, your own tools to use, your own ways of figuring out how it's going to work for you. And that's beautiful. If you want support, if you want to join the program, if you want to learn more about this framework and how I support my clients through this, I recommend you DM me on Instagram and let me know you watched this and you're interested in learning more. But really take what I shared and try to implement it and see what comes up for you, and learn how to use your tools every day. Learn how to express more, to create safety and expression, to create safety even with yourself, to be okay with sitting with your own feelings. Being okay being with yourself and like feeling the feels and creating a nice environment within you, that it's unmatched. I might have to make another video about that because that's literally unmatched. Once you can create that feeling and that safety within you and knowing that you got you and you got the self-trust, that's literally why I'm so lit up all the time, because like my inner world is so freaking great because I created that. It never was like that, right? And you get to do the same. All right. So I'm gonna wrap up. If you're listening, if you're watching, let me know in the comments below. DM me your takeaways. We'll love to hear. If you're in the free community, go drop in the free community your takeaways. And if you have any questions, want anything to clarify, let me know, because I'm always here to support you to thrive every single day of your life. All right. As always, it's your girl Pearl. I got you. Go eat more plants and do more dance. And I'll talk to you all very, very soon. Bye.